Hy's gebore in die land van wyn en koring, effens groot en pak die bulle aan die horing. Hy stap daar met 'n blou ding in sy hand, toe hy dit suig, dink almal die dorp is aan die brand. En hy sê lekker, lekker op 5 plekke, en almal staan met oopgehangde bekke. Hy sê hoe's het en hy vat nog 'n paar trekke, want dis lekker, lekker op 5 plekke. Sy sak hang swart en al die batterye, hy koop die sousie nie, hy maak sy eie. Sy bure sien die wolk en gooi 'n tuinslang oor die muur, maar het ryk so suurlemoen en het proe self bietjie suur. En hy sê lekker, lekker op 5 plekke, en almal staan met oopgehangde bekke. Hy sê hoe's het en hy vat nog 'n paar trekke, want dis lekker, lekker op 5 plekke. En hy sê lekker, lekker.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. How you doing? Hoe gaan het met julle bananas? Everything goods? Visuals, sound. Let's just quickly check in there. I might put the sound a bit softer there. There we go. So yeah, while you guys are checking, Warren Dean was first in the house. He says, woohoo, for once I'm number 1, but he cannot make it tonight. He is going out with fams. So Warren, hope you enjoy that though. When you get back. Then Arianto was second for a change. Lekker Arianto. He says the shirt that he received as a Christmas gift, pas hom lekker op 5 plekke. Nice. Goeienaand Jaco Veldhuis, lekker om jou hier so te hê. Kwai lappies, kom ons check, wat gaan nie aan? Arianto sê hy sukkel 'n bietjie in January. Ja. Nico Libbe is inside the house. Good evening, Mr. Nico Libbe. Welcome to you as well. Yeah, January is the longest month of the year. It feels the longest, but it probably is technically the longest as well. But it feels the longest because we have just had holiday and we need a bit of time to acclimatize to the work environment again. Maar nou ja, that's the way the cookie crumbles. Charles van Niekerk, welcome to Winger Tertiary. Charles joined again. So yeah. AKS, hello, good evening. Chantel Marie, goeienaand almal. Charles says, yes, Arianto and so on. Tennis Mulders inside the house. Lecco Tennis, the man with a lot of mods. Tennis, you must please send me a picture of your collection. I'm sure it is one impressive setup which you have over there. Henry Landsberg, good evening everyone in chat. And how's it, Kaiser? Henry, I'm doing good. It's just extremely hectic at the school though. Yeah, there's so much information that comes through which you must actually pass on to the kids. And now all of a sudden, some of the educators' workloads have changed. So the whole the rosters of the kids and the educators are going to change as well. And so the new ones are going out tomorrow. But it's almost weekend. So while you guys are letting me know if everything's hunky-dory over there, what I'm vaping on is I'm still got my Asgard on top, and I'm actually testing a juice for a week now, which I ordered from Survape, because I ordered Vupu Nano 2 pods, and the reason why I ordered those pods is because it fits on that. The Nano 2 pods fit on that Vupu pod, that little pinkish one, which I said my wife is enjoying so much. So to get to the free shipping part, I actually ordered a juice from them, and I went for this lemon jelly. Now you won't be able to see lekker over there, but yeah, there you go, lemon jello. And obviously it is a bit of a candiness, so it's going to be sweet, but it's very nice. It is actually a very nice juice. So I took a chance, and this time it worked out in my favor. So that's lekker, man. Anton Visser, good evening, Kaiser, and everyone inside chat. Paul Jansen van Vieren, there's Fee. Fee, you might as well become a member, man. You are such a regular at this specific point. So yeah, how tonight is going to work, before I continue inside the chat house, is we will do the slideshow as per usual, and then we are going to around half past, we will chat to Kurt Yeo, and I will also bring up a picture. He won't be able to see it though in the Zoom screen, but you guys will be able to see it, but he will know exactly what the picture is. So Kurt, you are definitely inside chat. What I did is I combined all 5 of those pictures in the order, so I will tell you when I put up the picture, and the viewers will actually see it, and then you can actually talk about it though. You can look at the pictures in front of you, but it's got to do obviously with the impact in case the current recommendations from the state actually gets approved, how that would impact us as vapers. So yeah, it seems to be like do it yourself might be the direction to start thinking about, to start considering, but it's still early days. But Kurt will talk to us from about half past to put our minds at rest regarding this itch the government has to get an alternative channel of revenue, put it that way, to fix the messes they have made, the money which has been wasted, and now they obviously need more cash, and this is just another avenue in which they can probably generate it. I mean, I'm sure that is the whole purpose behind it all. So yeah, and that will probably take us to 9 o'clock, I assume, and then we greet one another, we go and do have a lekker weekend, and so on and so on. Otherwise, I'm still actually on the dot in MTL mode, with that Atmazu type of situation on the inside. And then I've got this, but this, as I said, inside here is this blue raspberry taffy splash, that number. There you go, that taffy splash. This is inside this guy, and in the Aegis itself, on both Arbiter 2 still. I'm very happy with the Arbiter 2, and I'm telling you again, the secret behind the Arbiter 2 is your wicking, thinning out your cotton. And I find absolutely superb results, not only thinning out my cotton, but also do-it-yourselfing my juice in a 35-65 ratio. Nom, dan is hy lekker. But if you're going to put in too much cotton and you're running a 70-30, you might not get that saturation at the speed which is going to deliver you that intensity of flavor, and you might think the Arbiter 2 is just meh. It is very good, definitely. But in this one, I'm running the strawberry taffy splash. This number, this little perky, the strawberry one, is currently inside this. Not too shabby, Nigel. And then last but not least, I have got a new toy. There you go. One which I actually got myself because I did love the Chroma R. I liked the shape, I liked the look of the Chroma R from Inokin. So I decided to get myself the Chroma 217. Perfect MTL setup. And look at that dog juice on the inside. Look at that pitch black juice on the inside. Now that is a custard that has been seriously steeping for 8 months inside here. But you definitely get the custard. So yeah. And on it, obviously, the X-Pro 1.4. And that is my stuffies which I've got in front of me. And then regarding the merch which you guys always want. There's a keppies, brand new keppies over there. You'll see the sides are clean. There are no H's on this keppie. And these caps are available for any person, any viewer, any member of any tier. Absolutely, you're welcome to that. And then you've got this little monkey nut, the beanies, with cool beans on it. This only goes for 150, this only goes for 120. There you go, but it's all embroidered stuff. That's that. And then, as I said, the Honors one has just got a blue H1 along the side. Okay, for if you're Honors member, 1 year. But check out this. If you manage to make it to 2 years and you're an Honors member, looky, you get the gold edition. With the gold H2. Honors 2 years. The gold. Yo. And that is just what the blue one looks like with an H1 along the side. There's the H1 for the Honors one. So yeah, there you go. That is the caps. And I actually ordered another few of them. So there you go. So now you've seen it. So now you can be peaceful and at rest. There is some merch in case you get to that point where you would want some. Okay, kom ons kyk gou hierso. Let's quickly check. Hi to everyone in chat. Nan Shaul, there's Shaul. Welcome Shaul. Thanks for becoming a member again. That's cool beans. I actually missed you. I was worried about you a bit though. But Shaul says he is in. Hy is in. Anton Visser, goeienaand Anton. Dion Danhauser, there you go. He's inside the house. Lekker Dion, nice to see you. Yeah, you're welcome. I'm keeping one aside for you, Dion. I got your message on the community tab. So yeah, I've got yours one specially on one side. Alandra Dalport says, good evening all the beautiful people. Beautiful people. He's happy that he can actually watch a show again. That's good. Hey Arianta, the first time you actually hear the song Arianta, lekker op 5 plekke. Force is still going to work on it a bit. He says he's still going to put some electric guitar in there somewhere. But I enjoy it. The more I listen to it, the nicer it is. It's like a beat, man. It's one of those nice cowboy coming into going to the saloon with his horse. That's the type of rhythm that thing's got. Let's quickly still see there's Kurt is in the side of the house, Kurt. So I already said, just check out that thing. That picture, as I said, I will tell you when it is up, and then you can actually talk about it looking at your own pictures. That's sweet. Bananas. So yes, Kevin Long is inside the house. Good evening, Kevin, sir. Nice to see you. Vinagre Vape. There you go. Also becoming a regular now. That's good. Lekker man, everything is 100%. Sound, everything good. I will actually watch, because when I rewatched the previous show with David Gunn and them, their sound was a lot more quiet than mine. So Force came over here and we did a few adjustments, and hopefully I will be able to increase their sound, the person with his in Zoom, because it's sometimes difficult, because they might use a cell phone with a cell phone mic, which is obviously not what I'm using. I'm using a Rode mic, which is a totally different league as what they are. But hopefully I can finagle a bit of the settings over here and get everyone going. So that is nice. So thanks very much, Nico, for letting me know. Timothy Victor, there is he. He's probably very excited. It is the 20th. It's 22nd, Friday, Saturday. 2 slaapies. 2 sleepies. Then they have got their vape meet, which I will show you just a banner again, in case you do not know where it is and when it is. But there's quite a few people going to pitch up there. They are starting to call it a mini vape con, I see. So Lord Hawkey, I'm coming back to Joburg in April to see my mother. Kaiser, let me know if you want me to bring anything over. I'll look around there, Lord. I actually looked for that e-pipe I was talking about. I couldn't find it again, but I'll do my checkings over this weekend again. Then I've got some time. Then I'm a bit rustig. And I've got to be in-house this weekend, because apparently this Cape Town is getting hit by a massive heat wave. They're talking about anything from 35, which is not too bad. I mean, but to 45. Now that is not nice. Anything above 38, then this body of mine starts melting. But luckily we've got air cons over here, so we'll close up the house to make it nice and cool, livable, put it that way. Delaray Stein, good evening Delaray, you there. There's Daniel Beileveld, lekker Daniel, lekker om jou naam ook te sien daarso tussen die mense. Kelvin van der Merwe, Kelvin, you must come and get your stuff, my man. Do I look like a storage unit for you? Your keppie, and if you obviously don't want to use the keppie, that's fine, but then nominate somebody to which you want to donate. And that's another thing I actually want to say. If you're an honors member, you also got the privilege that if you know you do not wear caps or don't have a bar in which you want to display the cap, then you can nominate a member which you want to gift it to. How's that? To replace your position. We can do that as well. So Calvin, that is here as well for you. Your cap and your charger is at the back there. Timothy Victor and Dion Danhauser. Here is Rob all of a sudden. Rob is also awake because his wife is watching something on the TV and he's not allowed to. This Arbiter is seriously a good RTA. Definitely. Yeah, and I also see that remember I told you that bloke that one bloke that gives a dislike on the videos. Yeah, he came back from holiday. About 5 days ago, I got a dislike on the last 2 videos of mine. So yeah, welcome back, Mr. Dislike. So if you watch this one, just remember to hit that dislike button. Eh? Don't forget, I'm just reminding you. So, oh my word, people. All okay videos, all okay, lekker. Kaiser, what's your thoughts on Jay Hayes' new bridge he might be bringing out called the Me Too? Yeah, it's an interesting name. The Me Too, but he most likes to play on words. Calvin, I haven't seen the bridge. I'm not sure, but yes, like it. I mean, because you've got that small space to work with, and there are so many bridges out. How much more can you do is my question regarding those bridges. Because I mean, you've already got the Vandy Vape that's got that airflow all around it. Well, basically the 180 degree little airflow at the bottom. Most of them have got the single hole at the bottom. So it's just of how you actually tighten these things, the amount of juice which saturates the cotton, the placement of the cotton. So I don't know, I haven't seen him though, but I'm not into billet boxes. So I will give that one a skip. I much prefer these devices in front of me, the single 21-700s and the dual 18-650s. So if you purchase it, you can let us know. There's Guy W. Guy W, we will supporting you very soon. Early next week, I will purchase some more Arabian Nights for me and Foss. Because my Arabian Night is also running low. I've got some rum and maple left. There's your little botties over there. So yeah, then I'll just get some more top up over there. But if you guys are into tobaccos, do not forget to try the Pied Pipers. You will definitely find a Pied Piper which you like. Definitely. Dawn Oosthuizen is over here. Welcome, Dawn. Homegrown distribution. Yeah, people are all waking up. What's so special about tonight? You guys all worried about the tax thing that you coming to listen what Kurt is going to come tell us, huh? Kurt is ook so worried about then, eh? Saving up. There's Klebantain, the nice name, Klebantain. Here you go. Mark Richardson. Greetings all. Good evening, Mark. All the regulars are here, man. It's all the regulars. It feels like a reunion. Arbiter Solo is one of my favorites. I still like the Arbiter Solo as an MTL. I've still got mine. And we're not planning to sell it though. So yeah, I enjoy it though. Definitely, man. 1 month and a bit to my H1 keppie. The keppies are really nice. They are lekker keppies. And they sit nice as well. So yeah, I must dig these baseball style keppies. I'm not big on those flat things which the rappers and things use. Not my scene. Ghosting tonight, busy working while listening to the show. Oh, Anton, you must focus. You must focus on your work. Okay, let's just quickly go to the slideshow while we're over there. No, there's not a lot I'm going to show you tonight, to be quite honest though, but there's some gems in what I'm going to show you though. Something which might pique the interest of some of you folk. But yeah, there's the banner again. Just remember, 22nd January. There you've got the, what is it? Something Glass Village. But yeah, all the info is over there. Mulder's Drift, smaak het vir my. So yeah, go out there. It starts at 2 o'clock Saturday. And you can see there's a lot of prizes which are available. The Oaks from Home Readers are going to come along. The one bloke, the other one was, I think, one of them is going to work at the shop. I think it's Matthew Roman. He's got to work at the shop. And the other one can actually come to go and blow some O-rings for you guys. So check out, there are some nice prizes. It's always an enjoyable time. The photos which are posted, you can see the people actually like it. They smack it, stick it. So I can make a turn over there. Then I just thought I'd show you this oak. You know, I don't know about it. And it's not that it's new. It's probably been released. Well, the first reviews on this guy was up in November 21. But I didn't know about this. And this is a mod which is a collaboration between Homeboy and As Vape. As Vape. But it's a dual 18650 mod. And if you look at that pictures over there, the battery door very similar to the style which Geek Vape actually uses there. And what's also nice about this guy is the fact that it houses a 30mm. So there are not a lot of mods out there. Now it is middle fire button, obviously, not side fire buttons, so just bear that in mind. If you're a big side fire person. Because I mean everything which we basically use, except this one, it's also center fire. So yeah, and I've got no issues with this. Blue Razzmatazz Taffy. It's taffy. So yeah, I think it's decent because it's not too big though. But housing a 30mm is always a bonus though, because I mean you need a mod, man. You need a mod if you go to a vape meet. You've got to take that can I say what do they call it? That centerpiece, that talkative object, that object that creates conversational piece. There's what I'm looking for. And yeah, that 30mm will be a conversational piece on that guy. It's just strange. I don't see anyone that ever spoke about this thing. It wasn't advertised very well. So yeah, I'm not sure what's going on. I think it's around $60-70 if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, what's the thing's name? Let's quickly check out the name. It's just got a very short name. The Araya, A-R-Y-A, Araya 200 watt by Asvape and yeah, Homeboy. So that's over there. Then we've got this. Now obviously I don't normally show you pods, but this thing is very interesting. It's going to cost you around $30. But what's actually weird is, I'm just quickly going to show you over there. If you buy it, you don't get a cartridge with it. Now, the only cartridges available for it, though, all takes, I think, a 1.1 ohm coil. But I'm going to include a link later on inside chat. Well, post it underneath the video, doesn't matter. I'll also post a link to a video about this thing. Now, if you just go back over there, and you saw that in the package, it's actually, the mechanics of it is a separate unit. The mechanics and the battery, the electronics and the battery is a separate unit. And then you get a shell. And you can place this thing inside the shell. In the manual of this thing, they've got a barcode. And that barcode takes you to the 3D plans to print your own shell. So in that link which I post about information about it, they actually show you 3 shells which has been 3D printed for this thing. But it's got a clear shell. Besides that, it has got so many lights, LED strips in this thing. And if you want to change the lights, first of all, if you want to see the battery indication, you tap this thing twice. You tap it with your finger twice, and then the light will change a specific color indicating the battery. This thing's tech work. This thing's tech, I'm telling you. But do yourself a favor, and if you shake this thing, the light also changes. The LED strips changes. And they say this thing's got, I don't know what they mean by it, but they say it's got 100 watt charging. I don't know. But go do yourself a favor, go check out the link and go and read the description. Do yourself a favor. I couldn't understand what the hell they're talking about. This thing is so sophisticated that you can alter by apparently twisting something. You can also alter the type of draw which you get on this. But yeah, this device is what is called the Cyone, C-Y-O-N-E, Cyone Discovery Pro Battery Pack. That's what you get. So yeah, it's just the sake of interest. But yeah, as I said, I'll rather post it, the links underneath the video. Then it's going to be easier for you guys to actually get it there. So yeah, that's that. And then, all right, there, I haven't posted in my community tab, I've actually posted the Recurve version 2 RDA with the build deck. So you can actually see, I think it's 24.5mm RDA. And there are the colors. The colors available for the Recurve V2, which I have not posted yet, but there it is. And what I also found interesting about this Recurve, now apparently they do include these airflow inserts or adapters, whatever you want to call it though. But what's strange to me is that they sell these guys separate. So I'm just wondering why. Why would you get this included inside the kit and they also sell it separately? Could it be that it maybe they found out afterwards that it's a bit heat sensitive and it cracks? I've got no idea. But I mean, the thing is fairly large. The chances of you losing it while building the RDA is very slim. So yeah, but they do sell that airflow kit separately as well, and it's not expensive. It's less than $2 for that little thing. And yeah, then Aspire decided to bring out this Ria X, the Ria X kit. And what is sad about this, I mean, it's a nice looking device. It's not a bad looking device. I like the shape of it, I like the look of it, but unfortunately, they decided to put the micro USB at the base, and look at that battery door. That's one of those things where you need a coin or something to get in there. If you've got little fat fingers, you're going to struggle a bit though. So you need a coin to actually open it. So that's 2 bummers, and the third bummer is that's 18650. It's a 100 watt mod, but it's 18650. So yeah, much would have rather preferred a different battery door, just a little USB right in front, just shift it up at the base in front and get a different battery door. There's nothing wrong with these battery doors. I've got no problems. But that blue Aegis Legend of mine, which I've used for how long, and it's inside my little cassie now because I'm on my black one now, my stealth one. I mean, I've got no issues with that door of mine, and I've opened and closed it, opened and closed it, opened and closed it. So these doors are not bad, or even just something which unscrews and put in your battery and just screw it in again. But no, yeah, so that is a bit of a pity, but that's the Ria X. And there's the Fatality, Mr. Kelvin, but I'm sure you've probably seen it though. That is the 30mm special or limited edition Fatality. Only going to be available in stainless. Let's get my memory stick. How do you smoke this memory stick? This is a memory stick over here, eh? It fits everything. Very, very nice. If you got songs on here, you just want to put it on your phone, you just pick the correct one. It's such a lekker one. 128 gigs of space in that thing. But in any case, yeah, so there's the Fatality. So now you see it though. Only silver and black editions that's going to be released, but in each one of those edition boxes you do get the Ultim kit. But I seriously doubt you will run the Ultim kit with a stainless version. You might want to run it with the black version now. That looks much better. But the stainless with the Ultim, or the amber color, put it that way, if it's not real Ultim. Not my fancy. And then looky there. Vapors Clouds. They decided to bring out another 4x21 700. Vapors Cloud and what's it? Suicide. But yeah, they decided, Suicide Mods, to bring out this thing. It's called the Dead Space Hammer of God XL. Obviously XL because it takes 21 700 instead of 18650s. But otherwise exactly the same as the Hammer of God. Dimensions, battery door, everything exactly the same. It's just obviously the patterns, the etching and things which change on it though. But if you didn't like the one which I've got, the four Dead Horsemen or whatever, and you like space, you can go for that oak. So yeah, there you go. I think that is the slideshow which we have tonight. So let's quickly send Mr. Kurt an invite. Let's go home over there. New meeting. Let's meet up over here. Let's get that going and send Mr. Kurt immediately an invite while you oaks are chatting with one another. Okay, make it a bit smaller. I say, there you go. Okay, participants, invite, and I will double click on Kurt and send him an invite, and he will join us soon. And as soon as he joins, I will switch over and then we can chat with one another, or he can actually chat with you guys. Talk to us about what is going on. He is on the forefront. He sits next to the ministers, and there he is, and I will admit him. And before we actually switch over to OBS, I will just make sure that our screens are hunky-dory. There's Mr. Kurt. How you doing, Kurt? I just want to find out if you got sound. I think you muted on your side, Kurt.
I've got sound now.
There you now got sound. Now you're hunky-dory. You're actually nice and loud. Okay, let's just quickly close that window. Close over there. And then
Am I too loud?
No, you're fine. You're fine. Okay, where we can go, somehow go over. All right. There we have got Kurt Yeo. Daar maak ek nou die venstertjie per ongeluk toe. En daar verdwyn almal. Let's just quickly go back again. Why did I do that? Why did I close that window? But, oh man. That's it. I've got it over there. And now I must just get our Zoom session back. Zoom session PSG, Zoom. Good, you can actually start talking to the people, you realize that?
Oh, hello everybody. Thank you, Louis, for having us or having me on your show. It's great to be here.
Those pictures which you actually sent me. Okay, might as well. Okay, let's not figure around with the thing anymore. All right, we are on screen over there. There is Kurt, yeah. So there's quite a few rumors going about, obviously, that which is always the case if there's new information coming out of a possible tax and a possible attack on our vapor community, which people don't know a lot about though. But you're obviously there at the top though. Would you just quickly tell the people about that form, that survey, which needs to be in ASAP, please?
So yes, I mean, what we wanted to do is obviously demonstrate with a quick survey is what the reaction would be by vapers in South Africa if a tax was implemented, and particularly a tax at this level. I mean, the scale is just astronomical. So we have a survey that we're probably going to be closing off tomorrow afternoon, which will give us enough time to put together in our response to the Department of National Treasury. Do you want me to just put it in the chat?
Yeah, section? You can please do that. If you can link inside the chat, that would be great.
Okay, let me just, sorry, I just need to find a window here. So yes, I mean, it's just a quick survey, just so we can establish what how people would react to this kind of tax. And also what we do have, which is going to be an ongoing thing, is the testimonials. So the testimonials are critical for our discussions around regulations, because we want to prove that vaping does in fact help people quit smoking. And once they had moved over to vaping, how did they feel? Did they feel better? And I'm just going to, sorry, Louis, just want to put that in there. This is to our form over there. There we go. And then for the testimonials, it is over there now. So there we go. Those are the two things those are the two asks that we are currently asking for from the vaping community. The form is just to get an understanding of how you would react, and it gives you a couple of options as to what you would do. You know, go DIY, stop vaping altogether, go back to smoking, which we certainly don't want. And then obviously there's an option about getting your juice from an informal source, which is a very clear option within South African market, as we saw last year with the 2020's ban on tobacco sales and vaping sales. So, and we feel that any one of those options, except for the one where you could just continue vaping and absorb the cost, is a negative, a big negative. And obviously, if you quit completely, which is what the intention of vaping is to completely quit from smoking as well as vaping.
Yeah. When I filled in that form, Kurt, there was one of the questions which actually asked, do you feel that vaping needs to be taxed, not taxed? Would you consider something? It was a question so similar to that, something about that.
Yes,
How do you feel about it?
Well, I mean, Louis, if you think about cigarettes and smoking is probably the deadliest commercially available product in the world. We see 8 million people a year die from smoking-related diseases. In South Africa, it's estimated around 42,000 every year die from smoking-related diseases. And if you consider, which we strongly consider, and a lot of the vapers that I speak to in South Africa and around the world consider it as harm reduction. And this is not only from an anecdotal point of view, how people feel, but it's also been tested in clinical trials as well as in longitudinal trials, how people's biomarkers have reduced drastically when compared to smoking. So if you consider it as a harm reduction method, then taxing is inappropriate and, in effect, in my opinion, unethical. If it was literally something that had had a similar risk profile to what smoking is, then by all means, but it's not. It has a very different risk profile. And as indicated by the Royal College of Physicians, Public Health England, it's 95% safer than smoking. It's not risk-free, but it is a lot safer. Now, if you consider, for example, in South Africa, in the fight with HIV and AIDS, a lot of the counseling and drugs associated with that disease, as well as condoms, are provided free. And those are harm reduction methods. So tobacco smoking, we don't have those services in South Africa at all, which really, really upsets me. And it should upset everybody else out there, particularly people in public health, is that we spend a lot of time and a lot of focus on prohibition and restrictions and inflated taxes on a deadly product. But we have virtually nothing in terms of services to help smokers quit. There is no counseling available for free in public health. There's no toll-free quit line. There is a quit line, but it's not toll-free. And there is no subsidies around NRTs or other medications that could assist smokers in quitting. So the only option available to a person is either cough up and go pay for these services or pay for these products, or just try cold turkey, which, according to a lot of research, is incredibly unsuccessful. Whereas vaping has proven to be really successful, even double that of counseling and NRTs. So I believe that taxing a harm reduction product that proves to be working around the world is unethical.
Yeah, I don't know whether they're going to leave vaping alone. I've got a problem that if they decide, because I think it's publicly known that there's about 350,000 vapers in South Africa. And I think they know that is a great avenue for revenue. I honestly think so. I just don't think this plan which they currently have in place, and that's what you're probably going to talk about next. Now, I can tell you the pictures which I'm going to show them now is I've got the 60ml bottle at the top, just next to it, the 100ml bottle, then the 120, and then the disposable, and then the 30ml. That's how I've got everything together in one picture. And when I transition now, that is what they're going to see. So you can actually talk about what exactly is going on with those numbers on those pictures. So yeah, they're watching it now. You can talk about it. So the 60ml, the 100ml, the 120, etc. But they obviously follow a specific pattern.
Okay. So is it up?
Yeah, no, it's up.
So I mean, what I basically did is that in the current discussion document there is 3 options, and those 3 options are all based on a hybrid tax system. And so when we talk about a hybrid tax system, we're referring to the nicotine strength as well as the volume inside that bottle. So the volume is rated at 0.87 cents per mil, and the nicotine is 2.03 Rand per milligram. So even a zero nic juice will be taxed. The other thing that needs to be understood here is that the minimum rate that they are asking is a 33 Rand and 30 cents, right up to around a 346 Rand. So there's not, the minimum rate is 33. So even if you've got a 0 mil, you're going to add 33 to that, which is absolutely ludicrous. And that's based on the reading of our of this discussion document. So what I've indicated there is to give you the suggested price or the known price. We've reviewed a number of websites and so forth, and then added the tax. And then the red numbers will give you an indication of what the new retail price is, or an estimate of the new retail price is. And typically what we're seeing is this massive jump in the price, ranging anywhere, depending on the volume and the nicotine strength, anywhere from around 15% right up to 210%. So that's pretty much where we are, and that goes across the range. And yeah, it's devastating. It really is devastating.
But if you look at those numbers, obviously nicotine is the kicker.
Nicotine is a kicker, so obviously, and that's intentionally done. So things like your disposables and your nic salts, particularly your higher level nic salts, will see a massive jump in that. And unfortunately, a lot of people have opinion around nic salts and disposables and that, but they do provide help for heavy smokers, and they do have a place to play. Unfortunately, we've seen a lot of abuse of nic salts in the country, and I think that should just boil down to proper education and an understanding of what the purpose of high strength nic salts are in vaping.
And regarding the alternative option, which is apparently synthetic nicotine, which is not a tobacco product, I don't think South Africa is on the forefront of that, am I right? I don't think there's a lot of people, which the availability is probably scarce in South Africa.
Yes, there is available for synthetic nic salts, but this particular discussion document cuts right across. It doesn't define nicotine differently. If it's nicotine, irrespective of its source.
Oh, so we don't have that loophole, that luxury loophole which the Americans have.
No, unfortunately not. No, not in this documentation. No.
So how long do you think it would take before there's a final decision that will be made regarding this tax, whether it's going to be implemented?
I obviously have put in a formal request for extension because I feel that it was intentionally put on their website the night of the 15th of December, which means that we have effectively lost 3 weeks to respond, and this is based on holiday seasons and having access to certain sources and resources, particularly overseas and locally. So we've put in a request. We're waiting for that. It is really unsure when this will be implemented because, as per South Africa's process, there needs to be some level of consultation. So I think this is just the first step in a rather lengthy debate or discussion. I am not 100% sure what process needs to be followed here, but I know from past experiences that there has to be some level of stakeholder engagement. There has to be some kind of discussion, and there has to be an assessment of whether this tax is doable in South Africa, because the cost to implement a tax system needs to be quantified as well, because unlike other products like tobacco, where there's only a handful of producers, in South Africa, we've got hundreds of producers, particularly around e-liquids. And in order for them to ensure that those products are taxed correctly and appropriately, they would have to put systems in place to make sure that it's measured correctly. So the other thing that we need to bear in mind is that these prices reflect purely a tax, but according to the discussion document, there has to be some level of testing of these bottles or of these liquids to establish that they are in fact what it's being sold at. Where that cost for testing holds or sits has not been discussed in the document, but naturally we would understand it to be a cost of the manufacturer, which in turn will then translate into the price, the sale price. That has to be carried back. What that test costs is unknown. How frequent that test needs to be conducted, we don't know. From other environments, it would have to mean for every batch. So for every batch you make, you would have to send in a sample for testing, and they would then affirm that it is correct volume and correct nicotine strength. So yeah.
I must say, I actually read on ESIC SA, one guy actually posted that if this tax get implemented by what he actually vapes, the volume of MTL juice he vapes, his expense will jump up to about 4,800 Rand, whereby what he spent on cigarettes was only 2,500 rand. So that would automatically make him reconsidering maybe going back.
Yeah, so if you look at the minimum rate of 33 rand and 30 cents, and you compare it to what they call the MCT, which is the minimum collectible tax on a packet of 20 cigarettes, 33 rand and 30 cents versus 21 rand 60 cents. So the cheapest or the lowest tax rate on a box of 20s is 21 rand and 60 cents. So we immediately see that the intention here is unfounded and quite frankly disgusting.
As Anthony Bass remarks over here, he says that the proposed taxation is bullshit. But he says the arithmetic posted on ESEC SA is incorrect. And that I also read. I'm not sure whether he that also responded in that thread. But he basically calculated here inside chat. He said at 2 rand 3 cent per milligram, a 100 ml bottle will be taxed at 100 times 6 times 2.93, and it's going to come out at 1,758 rand.
Yeah, I've had a number of questions around that, but remember that they've already put a stipulation that the highest will be 346. So if you use that kind of calculation, pretty much everything will be above 346 rand if you use that.
Yeah.
And it's based on the way that they had presented the graph or presented the table, and it confused a lot of us. And it's when we got a couple of cleverer people and myself sit around the table and actually dissect that graph, we realized that the way they had presented, or not graph, the table, the way they presented the table was incorrect. So if you read the table, everything is either a min or max, and you shouldn't be reading it in a linear way. It's literally in a vertical way. So yeah, we've gone through every permutation and calculation, and the calculation where you work out nicotine strength and milligram strength, it's just always going to kick you over the 346 rand mark.
Yeah.
So yeah, and that's only one of the options. The other options are quite crazy. We haven't even attempted to figure it out. We only focused on the option that is explicitly mentioned in the executive summary and as option 1. And that would make a lot more sense for SARS because it's the easiest way to calculate these things rather than incidence by 40% or blood levels of whatever. I mean, I don't know where they come up with some of this stuff, but it's clearly something that someone was vaping something different or smoking something different when they put it together.
And Kurt, if I look at the amount of work which has been done by people like Grim Green overseas, and it actually boiled down to nothing at the end of the day. I'm basically adding on to what Maurits has got a comment inside chats which says, do they really listen to consumers or sellers' voices? Do you really think in South Africa it could be that they actually consider the thoughts of us as users?
Well, I've taken the standpoint over the last 9 months because, I mean, I've been doing this since 2017. So the last 9 months, particularly after our first fight with the health department, is that if I don't say it, they'll never hear it.
Yeah.
So I've taken the stance that I will say it, and I'm hoping that other people will say it with me. And the more we say it, we're going to have to break through. And we've seen this change. We've seen this change around the world where a number of governments, like we saw in New Zealand, where they were on a trajectory of banning outright to a point where they have completely 180-degree turn and they've promoted and adopted a tobacco harm reduction. So much so that they've got their own vaping website. The New Zealand government has their own vaping website. So we've seen this in the Philippines. We've seen this in a number of other countries, Mexico, Malaysia. They're all starting to now turn their corner and realize, okay, they had gone down the wrong trajectory. And we're going to see the same thing that's going to happen in the United States soon, I'm pretty sure, because a lot of the misinformation and misrepresentation of the studies and science has put egg on their face. If we saw the situation that happened in San Francisco and in Chicago and a number of other places where they have implemented these severe restrictions and very high taxes, that smoking rates have suddenly gone up. And for the first time in 20 years, America is now smoking more than ever. And that's purely as a result of taxation and bans around vaping products.
Now, in the past, South Africa's vaping industry has been in a situation where we also relied on vapers and vendors to actually have an input. But if you take 350,000 vapers, there's normally what the previous survey, which I saw, I think about 9,000 people actually participated in. What do you think is the main issue? If there's so many vapers, why do they not actually join in this push, this movement? Where's the problem?
I wish I knew. I mean, the challenge is that within South African law, you have an opportunity to participate, and once that window closes, that's it. It's done. The horse is bolted, and no matter what you do, it's going to take you a while. And I've got a family member that is in medicine. Actually, my wife's a doctor, and her uncle's a professor of medicine. And when he was working on a particular act, it took 15 years to reverse that. So once that window of opportunity closes, there's no way you can get back. And the only options available then after it closes is to fight these kind of things in court. And the very first thing that a judge will say is, why didn't you say it at this particular juncture? And it is. I mean, apathy within the industry, whether it be from the vendors or whether it be from the consumers, is going to be the biggest killer. And that's effectively what happened in the United States, is the guys did not stand together. They did not sing from the same hymn sheet, and there was internal fighting, and there was disbelief, and there was conspiracy theories that the big tobacco is going to do this, and pharma is going to do that, and so forth. I've taken the stand now. I believe that vaping is a harm reduction method. That vaping can save lives. It has saved lives. There are certain truths, and if that truth is true to you, then speak up, say it, sing it from the rafters. It's you've literally walked away from the deadliest product known to man, and you've made a difference to yourself, to your loved ones, and to your future loved ones. Like, for example, my father and my mother, who had died from smoking. My son has never met them because smoking killed them. So we need to really seriously start working together, start contributing, start participating, and activate the consumers, everybody, to start having a say. Share, interact, and let your voices heard. And as I said earlier, if you're not talking about it, then no one's going to hear it.
Yeah.
So,
there's no central body to which vendors have to register in South Africa. I mean, they can just pop up, am I right? Because, I feel that they are probably the best bet to reach people. Because you got to go to a vendor at least once in 2 weeks for something.
Yes.
So I think that avenue is probably going to be the easiest and the most effective to distribute the information needed and to get those people to actually participate.
Yeah, so unfortunately, we're in a regulatory holding pattern or grey area, depending how you set it. So the only thing that's available to vendors currently is the PASA, the Vapor Product Association of South Africa. It's not a must that you must join with them. It's highly recommended if you're a vendor, at least that you are covered by an association that will speak on your behalf regards to regulations and so forth. If you have a vendor, if there's vendors out there that are not part of the PASA, my question to them is why not? And it's not a glib why not. It's a genuine wanting to know why you feel it's not necessary to be part of it, because when those discussions occur, which we suspect will be presented in cabinet sometime this year, are you going to be at cabinet to share your side of the story, or do you want a professional organization like Vapasa to talk on your behalf? Because I can tell you 9 out of 10 times that a lot of people will just say, well, no, I'll just see how this goes. And unfortunately, in everything in life, it's about numbers. Strength is in numbers. So the more representation that Vapasa has from a vendor side of things, the stronger their argument is, the stronger their case is. And the same thing applies to Vaping Saved My Life. The more users that we have on board, and it's free. It's just literally like our page, follow our socials, interact with our content. And when we have an ask, like for example, the survey or testimonials, that's all we want. So when we do have those discussions in cabinet or around treasury, around tax, we can say we represent vapers in South Africa, and we believe that you are doing this wrong or your intention is wrong, and this is the impact that we will see if we do it.
And I think it's such an easy solution. I mean, if I was a vendor, all I needed to do is just put a laptop on the counter facing the customer with a link. That's all. Probably all vendors have got Wi-Fi or can create a Wi-Fi hotspot from their phone. And then it's such a quick, easy process. And I think that would bring in the numbers. And at least you from your side, you know that we have tried and done the max. So even if they go through this bloody tax thing, which I think they most probably likely will, because these guys are money hungry. Money talks. And these folks don't really care. The government don't really care for the people, for their citizens. They don't worry about it.
I couldn't agree with you more. And then when we did, for example, every year we do a survey where we ask questions around smoking history, nicotine strengths, flavors, so forth and so on. When we do those surveys, it's quite difficult to get people to interact with it. And we do ask a lot of the vendors, just listen, if you have an iPad available and the guy is umming and ahhing or just having a chat, and we know this happens, is just ask them to fill in a survey. And the same thing applies with the testimonial. It is literally your name, how long you smoked for, how long you have vaped for, your favorite flavor profile, and do you think vaping has helped you and why? And that's literally all it is. In this particular tax survey, it's less than 2 minutes to do so. I see Anton Fisser has just put in a testimonial. Thanks, Anton. So it comes to me. So I get this stuff and we put it together, and then we're going to present it so we can say, this is what we do. This is what these guys feel. And you need to listen to the consumers. You need to listen to the people of South Africa, that this could really, really help. And there's by no means vaping going to be the silver bullet in solving South Africa's smoking problems. Because we know that there is such a disparity in income and groups within South Africa. So vaping is definitely a niche thing, but it will open the door to other products like, for example, snus, which is a lot cheaper and just as effective. So it does open those doors. I take this from a point of we're trying to help people move away from smoking, and we'd like to see everybody quit. But unfortunately, there are people like myself that will never be able to quit nicotine because nicotine is important to us. But there are other people that could literally stop smoking, start vaping, stop vaping, and then nicotine free. So that's the end goal, and that's the goal that we should all be striving to. Unfortunately, some of us just will not be able to quit nicotine. So a safer option should always be available.
I can quit nicotine. I just like the flavors. I love the flavors. I'm honestly,
there's nothing wrong with that.
Vape after the flavors, so I enjoy.
There's nothing wrong with it.
No. So that's the reason why I continue vaping there. But if these guys go through with it, what do you think? How hard would it hit our industry? How many vendors, percentage-wise, do you think are going to be forced to close down?
The smallest will all collapse literally overnight, and that's from retail to wholesale. to manufacturing. The smaller guys will completely collapse. Companies that have been around for a while and have been well established will see a massive reduction in their offering, so they won't have such a giant range. They'll only be able to cater for a very small range. So, we're going to see a massive culling of supply, particularly in the open tank environment.
Anthony,
Thanks, Mark Richardson, for your testimonial. I appreciate it.
and Anthony says the loophole for synthetic nicotine does exist in South Africa. If it is synthesized, it can be called anything. And because it's an effective weed killer, that's what it will get marketed as. So we might see vendors starting stocking weed killers on the one side.
Yeah, you see, if you read the document correctly at 711, there's a test that they would have to implement. And yeah, these guys have done this time and time again. And as you said, if they want that dollar, they're going to do whatever it takes to build the dollar. The only thing that can circumnavigate this is to prove that if they've implemented this, that it would impact the economy, it would impact jobs, which is a big focal point from Cyril Ramaphosa's point of view, and it will be too costly for them to implement. So those are literally the three areas where we stand a chance. That it will impact future, so public health and the cost to the country. It will impact jobs and additional revenue. Remember, they're probably going to get more tax from operational tax rather than from the sales tax. Mm-hmm. Of course, the cost of implementing a system like this would be astronomical. If you look at the way tobacco's done, this thing gets produced and packaged, and it sits in a bonded warehouse. And that bonded warehouse has to be manned by a SARS individual. Can you imagine how many SARS individuals would be required for all the e-liquid manufacturers in the country, as well as the import ports? So how many people import juices from overseas? Mm. And remember what we've seen in America and the rest of the world, that those guys are looking for external markets. So they're going to drop their prices astronomical to share them all over the world. So importing those juices need somebody to sit there and guard every single package that comes in. So the costs are going to be astronomical. And it's very clearly stated in a statement that was released by MoneyWeb. Just one sentence there. It's very clear that if this proves to be too costly, then they're not going to implement it.
Kurt, Fee actually has got an interesting thing here. Is the tax only the proposal currently for finished liquids? I mean, does it affect people like Black Vapor and Flavor World, where you actually can purchase as a do-it-yourselfer separately, flavoring separate, VG separate, PG separate? Are they targeting?
In terms of concentrations, it's going to be impossible to put that in there. In terms of PG and VG, it's going to be incredibly difficult because the application of that material is broad, very broad. PG and VG are used in the food industry as well as in the pharmaceutical industry. Concentrations are used as well in food and pharmaceuticals. Nicotine, people like Black Vapor will have to implement a tax. Because once again, they are known. And nicotine can only come from certain sources. Mm-hmm. It's not something that you can go into the chemist and go pick up a 30 milligram, 100 ml nicotine, or 100 milligram, 100 ml nicotine. So yes, but in saying this, what we've seen so many times in the past is that when these things implement, a black market literally flourishes. And then standards come into it, and that becomes risky. And we all know what happened in 2019 with Ivali, where unadulterated chemicals were added to THC liquid, and we saw the devastation that had not only on individuals, but also on an industry, and that is still being felt today, is that the mistrust around vaping based around the Ivali thing. Mm. So one of the warnings that we will definitely implement in our response is that if you implement this tax, and like we've seen in South Africa, that black market is just launches overnight and grows rapidly. Yeah. We then stand a chance from a standards point of view where people could be consuming subpar or par standard liquids, and could create a far greater problem. And you need to know this. This is not something that is unknown. It is unknown. And let's face it, South Africa's economy, people need to make money. So we're going to start seeing people just literally creating these juices in unsanitary environments, using chemicals, whatever they can, and like we saw with the lockdown, people were making alcohol from pineapple, and the number of people that got sick from making that because they just didn't know would escalate, and that becomes a public health crisis again.
Don't you think that Minister Kopdoek has got a finger in the pie somewhere? I think so. Because they must run now. Dion Danhauser, he actually mentioned if this goes through government hospitals, costs will rise, obviously, due to smokers getting cancer. And that's also something I actually thought about. I know you'll probably never be able to get the statistics for it, but I wonder what was the relief of this 300,000 plus vapors on the governmental health sector. The fact that they left cigarettes, I just wonder how much money was actually saved by the government from these guys starting to vape instead of continuing to smoke.
Well, I was literally, just before I came on here, before you started, I had finished off an article that an organization in Washington had asked me to co-author with them. And part of that article was to highlight how little our government has done in terms of just monitoring smoking in South Africa. And just to go back story, I know this stuff is terribly boring, and we'd rather talk about my beautiful Valkyrie on a thing there. But South Africa joined the FCTC in April of 2005. Now, if anybody doesn't know what the FCTC is, it's literally the framework that controls tobacco around the world. And a lot of countries have become parties or signed to this particular agreement. And every year there's supposed to be something called a global adult tobacco survey and a global youth tobacco survey. It doesn't have to happen every year in every country, but it should be done every second year. And that's part of the process or program that is called Empower, and where they monitor smoking prevalence. South Africa has never, ever done a global adult tobacco survey for the WHO. Our last research that we've ever done was back in 2012. And the document that we're talking about now refers to that 2012. That's 10 years ago. And given what we know, how fast things happen in 10 years, that is completely unreliable to base anything off. The last time we did a youth survey was 2011, and we've subsequently never done that. I know, based on my wife's experience and family members that are involved in medicine, they don't even record smoking prevalence in death, particularly around COVID.
Yeah.
So when they talk about COVID and so forth and so on, they never ask for smoking history, and it's never jotted down. So we don't even have those stats. So we can't even tell you how many people actually have died, because we just don't record those stats. So South Africa has an incredibly poor record of tracking these diseases. And therefore, I think it's really inappropriate that we start implementing a tax on something that, A, we don't know the real impact, B, we don't actually have any solutions around us to help it, and C, the product is not even regulated. And then D, there's no standards. So in my opinion, we should look at things like, first understand the scope of the problem. How big is this problem? How big is smoking? I think this government would be shocked at how big the smoking problem is, particularly in the youth. Two is to then build regulations around that problem. Because if we think about the current regulations and the proposed regulations, they're talking about things like plain packaging and you cannot display products at the point of sale. But the majority of smokers don't buy their cigarettes in boxes. The majority of smokers don't buy their cigarettes from behind the counter. The majority of smokers buy singles or a couple at the spaza shop or next to the tomatoes or the bananas at the taxi rank.
Yeah.
That's where the majority of the smokers buy their stuff. So you'll be really shocked that that particular legislation only applies to a very small part of the community, the smoking community. So once you have all those studies in place, then build regulations that fit what you have just discovered. At the same time, with new products like vaping, implement standards so that we know that the products that are being put out there meet a certain standard, that they don't have funnies in them, that they are packaged and labeled correctly, and then start talking about taxes if they are appropriate. So we got ourselves, pardon the French, Louis, we got ourselves asked about fascia because we literally just want to tick a box. We've done it. We've implemented these restrictions, and now we've got a tax because our overlords at the World Health Organization said we must. So we're just going to tick a box. I don't believe this is purely to do with money. I think it's to do with favor. We're now in the good books of the World Health Organization because we've ticked this box.
I think Jose just mentioned something. He says that I think there's more than 1,400 people that have actually done the survey. So here's an interesting.
Can I give you the exact number as we speak?
Yeah.
Hopefully your viewers have responded.
I've got a calculator ready here.
1,495 people have done the survey, the SNAP survey.
Okay, all right. Now I'll give you a little interesting stat as well. Let's quickly convert that to percentage. That means that out of the South African vapors, a total of 0.43 people, 0.43% of vapors has actually responded to the survey so far.
And then I'm going to give you, then get your calculator ready there, Louis.
I've got it.
I've got 420 testimonials.
Oh my word. Oh yes,
how many zeros can you fit in that calculator?
I don't know. I'm really gonna get that in. I'm gonna give it to you now. That comes out at 0.12% of vapors that have responded via testimonials. Oh no, this is shocking. No, that is absolutely shocking.
Guys, if you feel and love vaping as much as Louis and myself, Louis, which way are you?
Yeah.
As much as we do, and you feel that it has added value to your life and added value to your family's life in terms of the way you feel, the way you smell, the way you taste and smell foods, what has it done for you, then just do the testimonial, please.
Yeah.
Because when we stand in cabinet, I'd love to take one of these giant lever edge files, or even one of those big cabinets of files and say, mense, hier mense sê nee.
Yeah.
Or these people say no. We don't like what you're doing. We need you to listen to us. And they cannot not listen to us.
Do you think there's any way that eSig SA can, because I know they've got diamond vendors and they've got supporting vendors, just ask them for the next 2 weeks on their website, because most people probably go buy online, on their website, on the main page, just post the link maybe. Don't you think that would help?
Maybe you can whisper something in Uncle Rob's ear, Silver's ear.
Uncle Rob.
Yeah, Uncle Rob.
Do it. Just
do us a solid, please. Just
who's the guy, man? Ernie L said, "Don't be a deuce."
Just anywhere, absolutely anywhere. I mean, I've even gone to Voos themselves and said, "Listen, guys, just give us a hand here," even on this particular survey. But they've got so many different levels of bureaucracy and so forth that it takes a month of Sundays for them to come back and say, "Yeah, okay, we might."
Yeah.
So because there's no fooling anybody that those guys pretty much sell the most vapes when compared to any single individual. But as a collective of independents, we outstrip them by a lot. So as a single entity, they do sell the most vapes, and they do have the highest reach and the number of people that they can reach. And I have sent a note through to Voos and said, please, could you just assist us here? Just get us to get your consumers just to fill in a survey and upload a testimonial. That would be great. Thanks. So I'm still waiting for that. But yeah, I think we've posted on a number of Facebook groups out there. The reaction and the interaction is rather slow and rather laborious, and it's sad. It is sad because we're not only doing this for vapors, we're also doing it for the smokers that want to quit, but they're just sitting on the fence because their mother or their grandmother or their auntie had told them in You magazine that this stuff is not nice and you shouldn't be doing it. It's from the devil. So that's effectively what happened with my mom, is that I would keep telling her, please, just give it to it. And she'd say, no, she read in You, or she read in the Star, or she read in this and so forth, that this stuff is not good for you, and she's just going to stick with her smoking. And unfortunately, she died.
But in any case, Kurt, it's times like these that I wish there were 20 active South African reviewers with platforms on which they could actually get the message out there. But we are a rare species in South Africa, still alive. But I just want to thank you for coming on the show and just shedding some more light on this specific situation. And yeah, so guys out there inside chat, please, Rob said gotcha. So hopefully he can just put in a request there for the diamond, the supporting vendors, just to put something on their main page, even if it's small, just to so the guys can just copy and paste it inside their browsers. Because South Africans are very lazy. I mean, we've got an average world IQ of 69, which is very shocking. Too far behind Japan with an average of 106. So we're a lazy nation, which is a pity. So yeah, that would be actually great. So Kurt, thank you very much. I do appreciate it. I know I probably missed a lot of questions inside chat, but that tends to happen in any case though. But I'm just going to put my email inside chat as well. So if any of you guys have got any ideas which might help, which are very bright, then I can just forward it to Kurt, and we can do something about this nonsense, which is about...
For the 11 guys that uploaded testimonials during the show, thank you so much. But please, if you have loved ones and friends and so forth, nag them. 12, we got 12 now. Nag them, sit on them. If you are vendors out there and you have a genuine case or smoker, and I've seen them time and time again where a person had really a fantastic success story, beg them, plead with them. Even if you give them a discount or a free juice, whatever it might be, so they can upload a testimonial, because those stories are so critical. When we stand in front of cabinet and say, we have got 20, 30,000 vapors out there that have seen changes in their lives because of this technology. Yeah. And therefore, it should be considered as a strategy, a public health strategy, to help people quit smoking. It's been done in the UK, it's been done in Europe, it's been done in New Zealand at the moment. Why can't we have it? Why are we not allowed to have it?
Yeah. So on behalf of the members, the chat over here, I just want to thank you for your part which you play in trying to get the better of the situation, Kurt. Thank you. We do appreciate it.
Thank you, Louis, for inviting me. I really do appreciate it. It has been fantastic. But thank you so much. A great show, and thank you.
Have a good night. Cheers.
You too, sir.
Bye. All right, you guys, that was Kurt over there. So yeah, we just want to thank him, and I think it was very informative. It's something that worries us a bit though. We don't know what is going to happen. I mean, I'm in the fortunate position that I actually do it yourself, and I've got a lot of flavorings and stock. So hopefully they have got a problem taxing the individual components though, and we might start going on, but there's not a lot of people that do it yourself. But maybe it should be a consideration for most people out there, because I mean, you do save some money. There are fantastic recipes available on eSig SA in any case though, but the whole internet are full of great recipes. But you can just ask local do-it-yourselfers. Don't just go and buy stuff on an international recipe on a website over there. You might waste your money. Find out from local guys what recipes they have tested through trial and error, so that you don't waste money unnecessarily on concentrates and things like that though. So yeah, and I know there was somebody in the chat last week. I did thank Zach Damon for the super chat. I know I missed it in last week's chat. The thing is, as soon as I stop this video, then it gets rendered, and by probably around 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock tomorrow, then for the first time when I replay the video, I can actually go through chat nice and slowly. But I know there was a guy which actually wanted to send me a package when I talked about the hat which I had to wait 4 years before to getting my own merch. So I have got my email posted inside chat. Okay guys, listen, thank you very much for joining. Thank you very much for being so nice and active inside chat. Dit was lekker weer gewees. Dit was lekker op 5 plekke. I hope you guys enjoy and have a nice peaceful weekend, and you enjoyed the Formula 1, and you're going to watch the big fight this weekend, and everything